Yeah, what up? Back at it again with another video by djmobileautoservices. Alright, so we got a GLA 200. It's a Mercedes Benz. Customer complaints is that his dash is lit up. Yeah, my camera just died. So as I said, these vehicles do a good job of monitoring the coolant. See what we got for like read data when it comes to like temperature. Alright, so let's go on the system components. For like basically we're gonna monitor the coolant temperature. Right, and I know the thermostat is behind this area here, closer to the oil cooler unit. Right, which is behind it, like under the manifold, which is a lot of work just to remove, right? So I took the vehicle for a spin, and you can see all my lights came back up, check lights still on, and also my gauge is like, let's say 87. Well, on my scan tool it's saying like 84. So who's lying? Right, let's look for the engine. Right, so we still has problems on the engine side. So let's clear this on the engine side. Right, on the ESP side is cleared, but I didn't clear it on the engine side, right? Because I need to rectify the problem with the thermostat. So I'm gonna hold on from clearing this right now until I fix the thermostat, and then I'm gonna clear this code, right?
Approximately 10 hours later.
Yeah, day 2 on this GLA 200 Benz. And we're gonna change out the thermostat, right? As I showed you prior, it's located behind under the manifold, so we got some things to remove. Gotta drain out the coolant, right? So I just got my hands on the new thermostat. Right? I want to do a little unboxing so you can see what it is, right? And want to got some coolant also, so we're gonna put the original coolant in, right? They got some green stuff in. I'm not sure if it's Prestone they was using, but BMW doesn't use. I mean Benz, sorry, don't use that green. They use either blue or pink. So we gotta get access to the drain cork under there, right, by the radiator. I want to let that drain in a bucket, right, and we'll remove the cover, remove some line, throttle body, things like that, right. It's kind of, you know, gotta remove the battery, the ECU, you know, let's remove a lot of these things that's in the way so we can get access to the thermostat, right. It's electrical thermostat. So I gotta go get my little special handy dandy tool so I could get access to some of these clips under there, right. So let me just pop that off, right. I will try to show you as much as I can. I just got the car up on some jack stands, right. I'm gonna show you what you can do. I got this special tool here that is for the the clamps, right, the adjustable clamps that fits around these radiator hose, right. You just gotta fish it down, squeeze it like this, right, that, and then you could just pull that lower radiator hose off. So while we letting the coolant drain, as I said, I'm gonna just leave that special clamp on until it finish drain. I got a tub underneath that's catching the coolant so you don't mess up my ground, right. That coolant is not the correct coolant for this anyway, so we're gonna replace it with the original coolant, right, and that should be it. So as I said, I'm not gonna get everything out of the system, but by me doing that, at least it saved me the headache from going under the vehicle and remove the shield and, you know, all those stuff just to get access to that drain cap. Alright, so we're gonna pop this off like this. We're gonna put this down somewhere. Alright, so this is the engine, of course, right, and as I said yesterday, the thermostat is under this manifold, so I gotta remove all these connections, hose, just get access to it, right. So let's do that. Next we're gonna do is remove the battery. I'm gonna remove the complete battery. I'm gonna just back the battery hose off, bolts off. I'm gonna have to remove this battery Next, I'm gonna unscrew this dock. I can disconnect the ECU right now. Alright, so you just pop these tabs forward. Right, this one has to go backwards, right, to get the ECU connectors off. Alright, so with the coolant drain, I just slip on the hose, and I can just make sure that is on properly. And I'm just gonna release the special tool like this, and the clamp's supposed to be secured. Remove the purge canister, right? You just gotta unplug it. Plus you gotta move it anyway because the hose, the vacuum hose that's going to it. I'm also gonna move this bracket that supports the battery and the purge canister. I'm gonna just drop it off. You just gotta back it off. How many bolts? It's like 3 bolts. So when it's ready to take the intake manifold off, I have room to pull it to this side. Alright, so next thing we're gonna do is remove. Do I have to remove it? Yes, I'm going to. These hard plastic lines, vacuum lines, tend to crack and break. So I'm just gonna see if I can get access to squeeze it to remove the purge solenoid. If not, sometimes you gotta probably bend the tab back, right? Gotta remove this ducting going to the throttle. Matter of fact, let's do that first. I'm start from here and then go backwards, right? This clip here, right, is a kind of tricky clip to get off, right? You'll be here like I did first time I work on one of these for like a couple of minutes trying to figure out how to get them off, right? So what you're gonna do is just push the hose up like this, right? And you see this little clip here, you're gonna bring him out, like, and then once you bring him out, the 2 air is gonna come up. Let's see if we get this one up. Once you unlock that, you just pull this hose off, and you're supposed to be good to go, right? So you gotta make sure that you know, lift that up because you'll be there all day trying to figure out this thing like I did, right? Next thing I'm gonna do is just take off the O2 sensor tab here, right? You're gonna plug it because I just need a little room to get this ducting off. I'm gonna use a terminal screwdriver, back off the sensor here, just wiggle it out like this, right? You gotta take this temperature off, same thing. Just be very gentle with them because they are plastic. And just raise the tab up gently. You're going to try to, right, and then you're going to just raise it up and it pops straight up, right? So we're going to remove this vacuum line here. Sorry about the dogs in the back. Can't do nothing about that. That's the neighbor's dogs. You just want to pop this off. This goes straight to the booster. Like I said, these lines is very hard, so I don't want anything to break when I'm taking it off. What else can I remove on top? Right. So we got one screw here, one bolt. Fucking dog, but to get this off, right? Let's see what else do we can remove. Right, we gotta release this hose from here because it's going straight to the thermostat housing in the back, right? So we gotta release this bolt right here. This one, they're supposed to have one under here also, and then gotta like get a long 1/4 inch up into the driver to remove this ducting from here from the throttle. A long 1/4 inch drive, and we're gonna get it up in between the right here to get this ducting out. Right, be careful, make sure and secure the bolt so it don't fall. Alright, so for just on the caution side, I put a rag over here so no screws or bolts could go down and have me chasing it down that rabbit hole. So we're gonna back the screw off from here, just holding the ducting for the piping. Alright, so we're gonna remove all these little connections. Gotta be careful, you know, with these hard lines, they tend to break, which one actually did because it's brittle, you know, it's very hard. This was an oil breather, so I'm gonna have to replace this. Just remove the rest of these vacuum lines, and let's see what this is here. I'm gonna pop this off. I shouldn't have to move this. I'm just gonna hold this to the side, right? Probably put this like this, right? And what else do I need to remove? I need to remove that vacuum line that's tapped into this big line. Alright, so it's these 5 bolts you gotta remove, right? Using the E12, right? And then the complete manifold is gonna drop off, and then you get to the thermostat. So we gotta remove all these things just to get to this little thermostat. Alright, so with all the piping, all the bolts disconnected, I'm just gonna lift it off. Take it off the, what is that? Oh man, I got one more hole underneath to remove. Alright, so before you remove the intake manifold, you have an electrical connector underneath. I'm not sure what hose is this. And so you gotta pull this to the side here. That's why I remove the battery. Alright, so you just gotta remove all the connectors. They got this hose right here that I removed also, right? And I said this connector right here. Oh man, that's a clip, but I'll get that. I'm gonna remove this. Most likely this is a temperature sensor. That's, oh man, that's here. I will get that. I just need to pop the tab off, and this is the temperature sensor. You just gotta, you know, move it, slip it off, right? And good thing I got the special tool, because the angle of these clips is at the awkward position. So I gotta remove all these holes that's going to the thermostat, and then I'll be able to swap it out, clean up the area, and here put it back in. But I still can't install it until I get this line, because this is a complete piece, and as I said, it's very hard. So I gotta take this off. I wouldn't be able to get access to half of these holes without that tool. As you can see, everything is plastic, right? It's actually turning color, so show that this thermostat has never been replaced. So I'm just trying to see if I can get this line off. You have an O-ring behind, so you just gotta give it a little tug and it should drop right out. Yes, it's a lot of work just to remove this thermostat. This is the old thermostat. This is the hose that we gotta replace. Sorry about the part, but we're gonna ohm the sensor. Like, as I said, this has never been replaced before. Let's take out the multimeter here. Let's put it on the ohms. I put the light on. So we're just gonna check. I mean, we're gonna replace it anyway. So let's see the resistance. Make sure my leads are good. Alright, so right now I'm just gonna, there's 2 wires in here. I'm just gonna check the sensors. See if I could get both of them in the capture. So right now I'm getting 1.3 mega ohm, which is very high. So I'm looking for a lower resistance. So I'm getting like 1.1 mega ohm, 1.2. So that's a lot, right? As I said, I'm gonna get the new one. I'm gonna do the same test. I believe I'm supposed to see a lower resistance. Probably let's say around 9 ohms, if that. Let's see if I can get it. Alright, so the customer supplied the new thermostat. This is the part number here, right? If you want it, it's original part. It comes with nothing in the box but the thermostat. Alright, got an O-ring on it. right? We gotta make, as I said, we gotta make sure that it's cleaned up, right? They mark and do what it gotta need to do to probably so we don't replace it on them, I guess. So let's do the same test again. I'm gonna put it on this side while we do the resistance test. Right now I'm getting 9.2 ohms, which is what the service manual told me I'm supposed to be getting. So I'm getting 9.1 ohm, which is low resistance. That means this is good. And I'm getting 1.2 mega ohm on this one, which is bad, right? You high the resistance, right? Low current and all that good stuff, right? You also see that this is actually, I don't know if it's slightly partially open when this one is closed and this car is cold, and so that could probably explain why you saw the gauge was like jumping up and down, right? You seeing it's partially open. Let me see if I get the light. See the light through the thermostat, right? So it's like it's partially open, and this is the brand new one, and he's closed basically. No light is coming through. So what we're gonna do next is install. Let me just get some light. We're gonna install we're gonna clean up that surface area first. Let me see if I can get right in there is where the thermostat was. Right, so we're gonna clean that up, that area up. Then we're gonna put some silicone grease on that O-ring. Right, so I'm just gonna put everything back together. Right, so just reassemble everything that was removed and lead the system, start the vehicle up, and deliver it to the customer. So we put the battery back in, but I didn't put the cover back on as yet because I want to leave that open so I could check for any leaks. All right, especially on the coolant hose. All right, I'm gonna fill up the reservoir with some concentrated coolant. Right, ECU's back in. I gotta replace this duct, and I'm not, because of the heat from the exhaust and that's being trapped in this vehicle. These things tend to fail, so the customer said he's gonna replace it. So I got that on the order right now. But as I said, I'm just gonna put the vehicle in a place where I could, check for leaks and make sure that's all as well before I put back on the cover. Alright, so this is the coolant I'm gonna be using, which is fully concentrated. So I gotta add, I think it's the 1-to-1. So I gotta add some water to it. Right, so I'm gonna fill it up, and then I'm gonna add a gallon of water, distilled water, right, and into this system. I want to bleed the system, and I'll run the vehicle for a while. Then all the air bubbles come out, and I'm gonna close it off. As I said, I'm gonna check for leaks. So you gotta remember this is fully concentrated, right? So you definitely gotta mix it with some distilled water, right? Sorry about the noise in the background. That's one of my clients. Yeah. So I'm gonna let it bleed for a little bit while I run the vehicle, make sure all is well, and put this car to the side until I get the remaining of the parts to install it for the client, and you should be good to go. I don't think I have any relearn anything to do with the temperature, but I'm still gonna do my due diligence and check it out first. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is gonna scan the vehicle, check for any kind of codes that's there. Remember, we had the coolant code, we had the coolant thermostat code, we also had the wheel speed sensor, right? But that was on the engine side. The ABS side is erased because I replaced it, on previous time, right? So I'm gonna just do a small scan, run through the system. Whatever codes that's there, I'm gonna erase it. Set this up here. My coolant temperature sensor is saying 27 degrees. Both of them is matching. My engine load is 87. The car's not started, and the voltage is 3 volts, right? So at 3 volts, I expect when the vehicle start and it start to get hot, I expect the voltage to drop right? When these resistance drop, right? When the voltage drop, I expect the fan to come on. The ECU supposed to get the signal and trip the fan on. Right, so let's monitor these things on a graph while we start the vehicle up. We're going to do a live unboxing. This now came in the mail. Right, so I just got this in the mail. What is this? Some other stuff I got. Let's open this up. Alright, so perfect time. Just got my hands on a new thermal camera, right, from Topdon. So let's see how this works. Okay, cool. So it comes with a nice little pouch. Put this to the side. Insert for the tool. The model card. Some instructions. Take a look at that later. What else it comes with? USB cable, memory card. This is like 16 gigs. Charger, and this is a handheld thermal camera by Topdon, the C004. They got the new ones out, which is the C005, right? But I got my hands on this one right before it came out. So let's power it up and see how it works. I don't know how it works. I just got it. As you can see, this was a live unboxing. I don't even know if it have batteries. The batteries have charging it. Right, I like the build. It's nice and sturdy. It's not too heavy. You know, the grip, nice little rubber grip. You know, you definitely need one of these in the shop when you're working, man. This save you a lot, especially for like overheating issues, alignment, misfires. I use it for a lot of things. So we're going to set it up. You're going to press enter, but you got to put the date and all that good stuff with dates. The date is 1 month of the 3rd. There's the 26th. So as I said, this is a live recording unboxing that I'm doing right now. This is like, what time is it here? Oh, it's 10:32. I'm gonna press enter. As I said, this is a live capture that I'm showing you right now of the imager. Remember, the sensor is directly in the fluid, so it must have a difference in the fluid. But right now, it's really close. This is 94. Right now, I'm at 97. So which is the same bad. Now it's saying 80 degrees, 81. Let's see how accurate this is. 80.5. And right now it's saying 81. Let's get a zoom. Temperature. Looking at it. So 82.5. And if you go in here, it's saying 81. So let's say 1 degree off, but remember that you'll be getting the you'll be getting the accurate temperature, because this is coming straight from the ECU, where this is just like, let's say, a relative temperature. In the return line, you see now the coolant is flowing to the radiator, and see the supply is really hot too. And so we just monitoring. Alright, so let's start this vehicle up. As I said, I installed the air duct piece. This is brand new, and the oil filler vent line going back to the block. Alright, so basically we did everything we supposed to do. We scanned for codes, cleared it, right? We changed the thermostat, also the right rear what you call it, ABS, and delivered to the customer. So as I said, thanks for watching.